welcome to Hawick High News. It's April 2015. Here are the news headlines. iPads in schools. Are they helpful or just another distraction in the classroom? Hawick High School pupil Sian Gullen gets elected as an MSYP for the local area. We interview her to see how she's feeling. Local candidates standing for the general election battle it out in a question time style debate in the school. Will you be voting in the upcoming general election? A group of S3 girls are walking thousands of steps, all in aid of charity. And we have all the latest sport news, which includes the recent staff-based students' football match. iPads can make learning engaging and memorable. However, they can also be expensive and for some people hard to use. The One-to-One iPad project is an initiative to eventually get every pupil in the school an iPad to use for different subjects. The iPad can be taken home and used for homework and other various activities. Here is Jack with more.
Since January 2014, Hawick High School have been using iPads in the Social Subjects Department to try and enhance the way pupils learn. More recently, the schools have launched the One-to-One iPad project, which aims to eventually have every pupil in Hawick High School with an iPad, which they can use in school and at home. There have been mixed opinions from both teachers and pupils about the project. Here is what some of them have been saying.
Why do you think all pupils in the school should get iPads? Because it'll help with their education.
I think it's a good idea, but we have to be really careful in terms of the rules that we make sure the pupils follow while they're using them to keep the pupils safe, as well as the teachers.
Yeah. Why do you think all pupils in the school should get iPads?
Because it would help their home learning, and if you're in class and the teachers couldn't book computer lesson thing, they could use the iPads instead.
It'll help them for learning and it'll be easier for them to research in classes.
I spoke to Mr. Hawkshaw, who is in charge of this project, and I started asking him why he would like to see every pupil in Hawick High School with an iPad.
I think we need, as soon as possible, to have all staff and all pupils with iPads, or else Hawick High School will be left behind, frankly. There are 727 schools in Northern Ireland at the moment where all pupils and staff have iPads. There are loads of schools in Edinburgh. There's 8,000 pupils in Edinburgh that are using iPads now. If we don't make a move on this now, we'll be left behind.
And are you concerned about people looking after their iPads?
Yeah, I think a lot of staff and pupils and parents will be worried about this. But Mr. Meldrum and I have been visiting schools in Edinburgh and been visiting the group that runs all the iPads in Edinburgh, and they're not finding it a problem there. So I think if it's not a problem there, and the group in Wester Hales are running thousands of iPads, they're not disappearing, they're not getting broken, I don't think it's a big problem, really big problem here.
What do you think the best thing would be about getting iPads?
I think there'll be lots of really good things. One, we'll be able to keep in touch with pupils and parents a lot more easily. But two, it is so easy to create interesting, immersive lessons using iPads. If everybody has the same technology, then people can be more efficient, but the lessons can also be more interesting, can be more fun, and that makes for better education.
Yeah. Do you think it would help people get better education?
Yes, definitely. We wouldn't be doing this if we didn't think that it was going to improve education.
Thanks very much for having an interview.
Thank you for interviewing me, Jack. Yeah. Okay.
Still to come on Hawick High News. Local general election candidates battle it out in a question time style debate. We speak to a group of S3 girls who are walking thousands of steps for charity. And we take a look at all the latest sports news from Hawick High School. Hawick High School pupil Sian Gullen has recently been elected as an MSYP for Ettrick, Roxburgh and Berwickshire. Her manifesto was to improve mental health services for young people, stop local shops discriminating against school kids, and to encourage the media to promote healthy body image. We spoke to Sian recently to find out how she was feeling when she found out that she had been elected.
Hello, today we are talking to Sian, who has been elected as MSYP for Ettrick, Roxburghshire and Berwickshire.
She is pushing for better mental health facilities and healthy body image in the media.
What was your influence to start politics?
Well, just a general interest in politics from knowing other people who have been in the Scottish Youth Parliament, and also people who have done other things like working with people who have been involved in the referendum campaign and on both sides, and just generally speaking to people involved in politics of all ages.
We have already mentioned some of them, but what are your policies in more detail?
Well, the mental health facilities, I want to make it more accessible for people, and also to make sure people are aware there are services available. And for healthy body image, I want to make people aware that there is issues for boys as well as girls, and to get the media to show that there is different shapes and sizes of all people, not just different sizes of girls and all boys look like this.
Why are these your policies?
Well, discussing it with people before I started my campaign, that was something that we kept mentioning, but it wasn't something people were using, and I thought it was a good way to get people interested and maybe get adults to think about things and consider it even if I wasn't elected, so then something might have happened as a result of it, even if I wasn't there to push for it.
How did you feel when you were elected as MSYP?
I was very surprised because there was a lot of really good candidates running, and it was very level playing field, and we were taken into a room and told in private first, and then trying to keep a straight face as walking through before they told everyone, like the public announcement. I was very surprised, and it was very hard to try and keep a straight face and not give it away to people.
What are your ambitions for the future?
Well, as far as politics goes, I've got a 2-year term in the Scottish Youth Parliament, and then I think I'll just see how it goes from there.
A group of local politicians recently battled it out in a question time style debate. Following the success of last year's independence debate, the school was pleased to announce that they had been asked to host a debating competition between candidates who are standing for election in our constituency in the May general election. Here is a short extract from the debate.
Is a top priority. Local services like the local community hospital, green bins and other vital local services that we use in Hawick and across the borders, many of which are under pressure or cuts because of a variety of reasons. And fourthly, connectivity, broadband, mobile phone signals. That's one of the biggest issues I get, and people raising with me in my surgeries across the board. I think it's something we need to prioritise moving forward. Lastly, what I would say, we had the referendum last year. Scotland decided to stay within the United Kingdom, a decision I was very, very pleased with. Now's the time to move on, and there's a real danger that the SNP win in May will have another referendum, and that's something I want to stop.
Over to Callum. Thank you. It's great to be here. It's a shame Westminster, though, hasn't caught up with what happened last year, because a lot of people had a vote last year and got engaged in politics and no longer do. And I think we need to learn from that and look at the things that the referendum did positively. I mean, all elections are about the future, but this one matters more than most. And I want you to have better opportunities in the borders than I had. I had to go down south for my first job. I want you to be able to stay here if you want to. The SNP is committed to giving you the opportunities for the best possible start in life, whether that's a choice of a job or an apprenticeship or further education or training. And that's why we've expanded apprenticeships. There'll be 30,000 a year by 2020. And that's why we remain committed to education based on your ability to learn, not your ability to pay. Because you see, government is like life. It's about setting priorities. And unfortunately, my priorities are not the same as the two gentlemen either side of me. Sorry.
A group of S3 girls have been walking 10,000 steps a day to raise sponsorship money to send abroad. The money will help build wells in areas where currently girls have to miss school because they have to walk to get water from rivers. We went to see the group recently who were trying out their pedometers.
Okay, we are trying to raise money for an organisation called Care International, and they are trying to stop girls from having to go and get water instead of getting an education. So we're going to raise money so they can build a well in the community so the child doesn't have to walk to the water. So we're going to walk 10,000 steps a day so that she doesn't have to eventually. We're getting sponsored to do that. If we get £100 then we can get a well. That's enough to put a well in someone's village community, but any more than that will go towards other wells for other similar causes. And we've got pedometers that we've been using to try and check that we've been doing 10,000 steps a day. This is an example of a girl called Ambi who's 10 years old, who instead of going to school has to walk in the hot weather to go and get water for her family for the day. So 10-year-olds aren't going to school, instead they're going to walk to rivers, and that's not very fair.
Just to raise awareness for the cause and to try and make it so that other people get to experience what we experience.
And maybe to understand how hard it is to walk 10,000 steps on a daily basis.
Now it's time for the latest sports news. Firstly, a group of S3 pupils were recently recruited to the LEAD 2014 programme. The pupils consisted of Isabel Ingalls, Holly Crawford, Lachlan Lightfoot, Emma Young, Ronning McKean, Katie Gaylor, Chloe Scott and Christy Anderson. The group have been meeting each week since being recruited and have came up with some brilliant ideas so far. This group will be available to help out at any future events that the school organises. All you need to do is get in touch with Ewan Linders, who is the Active Schools Coordinator.
Finally, this year's annual Staff v Student football match recently took place at the AstroTurf, and after a close-fought game that finished 1-1, it went to a penalty shootout. In the end, it finished 4-3 in sudden death, with the winning penalty scored by maths teacher Mr Hartness, although English and media teacher Mr King did come into the school the next day on crutches after suffering a bruised ankle.
Now that's it for the packed April episode of Hawick High News. If you haven't already, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and also check out our brand new website where you can get all the latest news from the school as well as our daily bulletin updates. But for now, from all of the Hawick High News team, we will see you next month.